It takes to overcome overwhelm for good. I'm April Adams, and I give millennial and Gen X women science based tools that work like magic to overcome overwhelm and any other emotional block. So I see overwhelm and anxiety like a brick wall. And so there's all these individual bricks, and each brick represents something that's happened in your life. And so a lot of those bricks can be current stressors, work stress, relationship stress, all the little things on your to-do list. But a lot of the bricks and, some of the foundational ones can be things like trauma that you've experienced or unmet emotional needs throughout the course of your life. So there can be a lot of different contributors to that wall. And so you can't just work on the surface feeling of like, oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed and talk yourself down from that. You also have to deal with all of the different things associated with it. And typically, we have been shown different ways of talking sense to our brains and trying to be mindful or, doing all kinds of conscious work to talk ourselves down and understand how we should be thinking, feeling, or reacting. And those are the kinds of techniques that we might learn through self-help books, going to therapy, and just practicing general mindfulness and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things. It's just that over the course of time, it gets really exhausting to constantly have to talk yourself down and still find yourself triggered for the millionth time on the same topic. So I always find it far more beneficial to address things on the subconscious level of the mind because the subconscious is what runs the show. Have you ever decided, oh, I'm not going to eat this certain thing anymore, maybe a cookie or something like that? And you're good for 4 or 5 days, but then something stressful happens and suddenly you're eating those cookies going, I said I wasn't going to eat these anymore. That's your subconscious going, oh, we're not feeling great. We need to do something to make ourselves feel better in the moment. What do we have around us that has distracted us or made us feel okay in the past for a few minutes at least? Cookies, I know. Let's go eat some cookies. So even though consciously, logically, you're going, this is not the healthiest choice for me, and I know I shouldn't be doing this, your subconscious wins and it goes and does it. Same thing happens with triggers. So if you are triggered by something, if you react to something, even though you know it's not a survival level threat, your subconscious might see it like a survival level threat and still be reacting like it's a threat, even if it's not really. And so, in order to address that, in order to get out of that pattern of reactivity around something, you have to address it on the subconscious. Convince the subconscious mind, A, that it's either something that you're safe about, that it's not a threat, or that it's ridiculous to continue reacting to that thing at that level. So that's the kind of work that I do. And I find that if you address the individual bricks, and not every, you don't even have to address every single one, but the more of those bricks that you address, especially the foundational ones, the traumas, the patterns of not getting needs met, things like that on the subconscious level, and each one often takes only minutes. So I know you're used to the long way. I know that you're used to things that take having to focus on it 10, 20, 30, 5 million times before it finally clears up and stops plaguing you. With the tools that I use, you're often able to, in one sitting, eliminate a specific trigger. And so if you kind of imagine that each of those bricks in that wall can be eliminated in a single sitting, you're chucking bricks left and right. And so eventually the wall is just naturally going to crumble because your subconscious is going to be like, if I'm safe here and I'm safe here and I'm safe here and I'm safe here and I'm safe here, maybe I'm safe overall. And I don't need to be as reactive as I am. I don't need to be constantly hypervigilant and all over the place. And so that is what the subconscious work excels in because it's a speedy process where you're just eliminating a trigger, eliminating a trigger, eliminating a trigger so that you can easily just move on and not have to constantly babysit your brain and talk yourself down. So I would encourage you to join my mailing list, check out my website, and apply to work with me privately if you are ready to really dive into the subconscious work. Check you out there.